So this is a charter allegedly of 1044, and it shows Anglo-Caroline script for Latin for the first part of the text, and then in very small letters you have the English boundary clause, which is written in insular minuscule, and then the last part of the charter is the names of the witnesses, and they are mostly written in Caroline minuscule in Latin. Now the top line, again as with the other charter, is written in a form of rustic capitals, although they're rather clunky and ugly in this particular charter, this hand. The script in general is very reminiscent of later 11th century Anglo-Caroline. Features that you'd see here, that you wouldn't see in the 12th. There is a ligature of R and T, which you don't see. It tends to drop out in the 12th century. You have a spacing between the C and the T in ligature, as in Wektigale here, and that again is very characteristic of the 11th century. Other signs of the period might be the clubbing of ascenders. This very distinctive blobby aspect, so the ascenders are thickened at the top, and you have very heavy blobs on the backs of the S's, so this strong contrast between the tops of the letters and the very rotund letter forms in the minim space. One thing about this scribe is he seems to make quite a lot of mistakes. So there's been a corrector who's had to correct from transcedere to transcendere here, volunti to voluntati, noxatque, the spelling has been changed here. So quite a number of errors. We see the use of the e cauda for AE, so praecepimus is praecepimus with this little hook underneath, which represents the A, and as we move towards the 12th century and the middle of the 12th century, we will see that hook disappearing and the spelling changing from PRAE to PRE, so praecepimus will be the later 12th century spelling, and see that that's starting to happen here. And we're seeing the usual kinds of forms of abbreviation. So that little 2 on the top of vocetat to make it passive, vocitator. We're seeing the colon, the 2 dots after the Q for que, which is a very common form of suspension of que in the 11th century in style for Anglo-Caroline, which is very late representative of, and that little hook or curl for US in eus that we can see here. Another sign that it might be late 11th century, I think, is possibly the fact that we have signs that the F is falling below the baseline. It's not sitting neatly on the baseline as you might see in the most disciplined form of Anglo-Caroline, but just dodging beneath, and that's something that you see in the last third of the century. And you can see that more clearly in the witnesses.